The warden framed me for a crime, so I escaped and got his daughter pregnant. I got sentenced to 23 years for a crime I didn't commit. Burglary, assault, attempted murder, triple stack, the works. You ever have your whole life rewritten with a single lie? That was me, sitting in that courtroom, watching a man in a blue tie tell a jury I beat him half to death trying to rob his store. Said I wore gloves, left no prints. I asked why there were no cameras. He said they were under maintenance. The whole thing stunk, but it didn't matter. The jury nodded like bobbleheads, and the gavel hit like a death sentence. But here's the part that'll make you want to punch a hole through your screen. The man I supposedly assaulted, he wasn't just a store owner. He was the warden's cousin. And when I got to prison, guess who made it his personal mission to ruin me? Yeah, that same warden. Buttoned up, smug as hell, walking through cell blocks like he was God, smiling during inspections, making speeches about rehabilitation while prisoners died in the infirmary from mysterious causes. He made my life hell, assigned me to septic duty. Every morning I waded through human waste like it was a baptism in humiliation. When I asked for transfer, he smiled and said, hard work builds character. When my mother died, he lost my request to attend the funeral. When I got pneumonia from a busted heater in my cell, he laughed and said, should have brought a blanket. And the guards, they were worse, fed off his cruelty. One of them used to whisper, innocent boy got his wings clipped every time he walked by. I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw last week, but I didn't scream, didn't fight back. Not because I was scared, because I was calculating. You see, while he was busy breaking me down, I was taking notes, watching patterns. Who came in when? What hallways had blind spots? Which pipes whined before pressure dropped? I even got friendly with the guy in records, traded him cigarettes to let me clean the archives. What I actually did was memorize the structural blueprint of that rotting cage. But escape was just phase 1. The real prize was what came after. Phase 2 was revenge. 5 years. That's how long it took me to tunnel behind my cell sink into the old plumbing shaft. Used homemade chisels carved from bed frames, wrapped in cloth to muffle sound. Every night I chiseled 3 inches. Then I'd cover the hole with a poster. Classic stuff, but it worked. On the night I left, it was raining so hard the yard flooded. I waited until lights out, slipped through the shaft, crawled 300 feet through human filth and broken pipe until I came up behind the old maintenance shed. No cameras. I took the janitor uniform I'd hidden there months ago and walked straight out the gate during shift change, clipboard in hand. You don't know freedom until you smell it through sewage and blood. Now you're wondering, where's the revenge? Let me tell you a little something about Warden Holier Than Thou. He had one weakness. His daughter, early 20s, college type, visited every summer. Sweet voice, polite, didn't fit the mold. The only decent thing to come out of that monster. Thing is, back when I was on septic duty, I had to clean the visitor wing. She saw me once. I helped her after her car stalled. Didn't flirt, just respectful. She remembered that. So when I showed up at her college 6 months after my escape, I didn't lead with I escaped prison. I led with charm. I had a fake name, real stories, and scars that made me look mysterious. We talked, dated. She fell. When she introduced me to her father, Warden himself, I could see the blood drain from his face, but he couldn't say a thing. He didn't recognize the name. I'd changed everything. New face, beard, weight gain. But my eyes? Yeah, those he knew. He pulled me aside, said, if you ever hurt her, I cut him off. You already did. 3 months later, I took her to the same beach he used to vacation at. Proposed to her with a ring I bought using money I stole from his offshore account. Info I swiped from the prison archives years ago. A week after that, she told him she was pregnant. He collapsed. Literally. Heart palpitations. Hospitalized for 2 days. He tried to tell her I was dangerous. She called him paranoid. That's when I sent him the photo. Me, holding his daughter, her pregnant belly showing. My hand making the same peace sign he forced prisoners to make during rehabilitation graduation ceremonies. He knew, and he couldn't say a word, because if he did, he'd have to explain who I was, what he did, how he framed an innocent man, drove him to madness, and accidentally handed him the keys to his legacy. I didn't need to hurt him physically. Watching him fall apart while I built a life using the very things he stole from me, that's revenge. Now I've got a daughter, beautiful, strong. When she's old enough, I'll tell her everything, and maybe I'll take her on a field trip to a place with bars and towers and ghosts that still whisper my name, just to show her how far a man can crawl through hell and still come out clean on the other side.